No, you prefer Rob, is that correct? Robert Arpats?
Anything.
Anything. What do you think of Arpats, actually? Is it...
I would like to break the hands and mouth of the person who came up with it.
Well, I won't go with that. Rob, thank you for sitting down with us. It's funny to look at it because it's actually only 5 years that you've been basically involved in Twilight, and whilst we know vampires live forever, I can't help but wonder if it doesn't feel the same for you, that this seems like it must have gone on forever. It's been so big and so overwhelming.
Not really. I mean, it feels like it's gone on for a really short time. I mean, when I look at clips and things from the first movie, I'm like, oh wow, I was a lot younger then. I mean, I don't really have any conception of it. I think you kind of ironically get like stuck. You stop aging. I think I've stopped mentally aging since I did the first one. My life hasn't changed at all.
I think that happens to a lot of people. You're just the only one who's allowed to do it. I mean, technically you have to. You aren't allowed to age. So
you just get to 21. That's it.
Yeah.
I haven't got it. Nothing's developed.
Is it nice to be closing the book, so to speak?
Yeah. I mean, it's been the one difficult thing about it is just doing 5 movies playing the same character. I mean, who doesn't change, doesn't age, and he's achieved everything he wants to achieve in the first movie because he just wants to be with Bella, and so it's difficult to think of where to go with it. But yeah, it's good to kind of move on to something else.
You obviously got so many other roles you've taken on over the course of the 5 years, and it feels like these have been roles you've been really cutting your teeth on and trying to sort of push yourself wider as an actor and make sure that you're not just Edward. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, it's just, I think just because Twilight became so prominent and kind of mainstream, people think I'm similar to the character, but Edward's such a specific part. But it wasn't really anything like me in the first place, and so I never really felt like I was breaking away from anything or had to break away from anything, because I always find it so funny when they're like, when you do any other part, they're like, oh, this is him, like kind of acting now. It's like, what do you think I was doing in the Twilight thing? I'm just like,
did it influence your choices though, like to try and make sure they were markedly different?
No, I mean, I probably wouldn't play a vampire, but I mean, other than that, or a werewolf. And I actually got offered to play a werewolf, which I turned down. It was a really good script.
Any regrets about not playing the werewolf?
Possibly. It never got made in the end, so I was lucky.
So less so. Reading from the internet, I learnt just quickly that you want to be Jack Nicholson, that you were fired from a play, that you were called Claudia by your sisters, and that you're an Arsenal fan, which the last of which I at least hope is true. But do you find it weird? I mean, how much do you look at the internet? How much do you look at the stuff that's out there?
I mean, it depends. I mean, when you're promoting something, it's weird. It's like a strange sort of addiction. I mean, you kind of... Because it's like, everyone wants to know, if people were like whispering about you in the next room, you probably want to know what they're saying. But really, you always regret it. Because they're probably talking shit about you. What
image do you want people to have of you coming out of the film? Do you want to leave Edward there? Do you want to then sort of become Team Rob?
That's the one thing I've kind of been annoyed about the whole thing, the kind of the team aspect of it.
I'm glad I got it in there in time, and I hate not to avoid you.
No, it's a thing. It's strange. I think that's what has created a very strange atmosphere around how the movies are kind of promoted and stuff, because it's making it like a sport or something, and it's becomes, people can't really watch the film anymore because they're thinking about all this other silliness, and it's kind of... Yeah, I hope that stuff is sort of left behind, like the nicknames and things. It's like, it's very strange that how you develop a nickname. It's like, okay, and which actors don't get them.
Is it frustrating that so many interviews just skew straight into your personal life when you're trying to talk about a project?
I mean, I think, well... I don't know if it's necessarily frustrating. I mean, because it's kind of, you just get so used to... It's not really like... You do an interview about you talk about anything, and it's, they need to get hits for a website or a newspaper or whatever. You need to sell it in one way or another. and it's really not up to you. So you could talk about absolutely nothing, and the editor's going to put it however they want anyway. So it's kind of part of the thing. What you reveal what you want to reveal, and you kind of talk about what you want to talk about. If people want to talk about the movie, then that's great. It's got to be. People ask you about whatever they think their audience is interested in, and you can't really dictate that, I don't think.